Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about
Drew Brees has a new toy to play with in New Orleans.
Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter and share the video, and I'll give this podcast to my brother.
Well, Dez Bryant. It looked like he was going to have an offer on the table after he was released by the Dallas Cowboys. With the Baltimore Ravens, he turned that offer down. Looked like he was going to have an offer with the Cleveland Browns. He turned that down. Was looking like he was going to sit out the entire season waiting for an NFL contract. Well, Dez Bryant has a contract now with the New Orleans Saints, a team that looks like they are on their way to the postseason after they have handed the Los Angeles Rams their first loss of the season. And now Dez Bryant is going to join up with Drew Brees. It's going to be a very key addition to the Saints offense if Dez Bryant has anything left in the tank. It's a low-risk, high-reward pickup for the Saints. But congratulations, Dez Bryant. Couple of weeks, the Saints play the Cowboys in Cowboy Stadium. Dez Bryant's probably already looking forward to throwing up the X in Cowboy Stadium once again. Dez Bryant has always been one of the most talented, one of the best receivers in the NFL, and last year it looked like Dez Bryant was being released because it was his fault that Dak wasn't on the same page last year in Dallas. Well, it's looking this year like it was Dak's fault. Although Tony Romo and Dez Bryant had great chemistry with each other. Tony Romo could throw the ball on that back shoulder where Dez was the only one who could catch it. He's not that type of quarterback. He's going to look for the receiver who is the most open receiver, not necessarily pinpoint passing, not necessarily his forte, not necessarily his strong point. So Dez Bryant is a New Orleans Saint. Don't know if he'll play on Sunday or not, but congratulations to Dez Bryant. And I had said that I thought Dez Bryant should have went to go play for the Toronto Argonauts, but Dez Bryant did not have to go north of the border to play. The New Orleans Saints have picked up Dez Bryant, and good move for the Saints. Drew Brees has a new receiver, a new weapon in that offense. The New Orleans Saints. Dangerous. They just knocked off the Rams, and the Saints, when they get hot like this, look out. New Orleans might be hoisting that Lombardi trophy once again. So the Dallas Cowboys have thoroughly just about finished imploding on this season. We'll see whether or not the implosion is complete Sunday when they play the Eagles in Philly or not on Sunday, but a game that was absolutely winnable against the Titans on Monday night, a game that was absolutely winnable, but the Cowboys defense let the game slip away from them. They could not stop Marcus Mariota, the Titans quarterback, whether he was running or passing the football. The Cowboys' new wide receiver, Amari Cooper, got into the end zone with a touchdown once in the game, but it turned out not to be enough as the Cowboys' defense really let them down over the stretch. But big questions are happening in Dallas, especially if they lose to the Eagles. If they lose in Philly, that's just about going to put them out of reach for winning the division, I would say. It's crazy because this was another game where Dallas had a shot at getting a game on the Eagles, and once again, they lost again. So once again, the Cowboys could have got a game on the Eagles, but it turned out not to be, as the loss makes it look more and more like this will be Jason Garrett's final year coaching the Dallas Cowboys, and major changes will need to be made right away to try and save their season, or they might have to go a different direction entirely. Front office, head coach, quarterback, start all over from scratch in Dallas. That's a teardown and a major rebuild for this valuable franchise in professional sports. Not sure even Jerry Jones wants to go that route. So, now that the baseball season is over, what is the baseball fan going to do now that the baseball season is over? Well, what I do is I normally read a bit of glorified speculation, as I call it, on the latest free agents. What are going to be the biggest storylines this season for this free agency period? I believe the biggest one will probably be Bryce Harper. It's got to be Bryce Harper. Where will he go? Who is going to be the lucky team that lands Bryce Harper's services? And I have said now for a few podcasts that Bryce Harper coming to the Cubs would be a welcome addition, but the Cubs, if they land Bryce Harper, almost certainly Jason Hayward will have to be traded away. And Jason Hayward, probably the best defensive outfielder the Cubs have had ever since he joined the team in 2016, the year, of course, where they did the impossible and won the World Series. And so, the storylines that I've been thinking of, number one, Bryce Harper, where will he end up? Will the Cubs end up making the move? Bryce Harper, on his Instagram, has been wearing a lot of Chicago teams gear, like he wore a Bulls hat in one of these posts I saw. His dog is named Wrigley. It's a bit humorous to think how much clues he's been giving as to where he would like to end up. Don't know if he actually will end up there, but he would certainly like to take his talents to the north side of Chicago. How much money would the Cubs be able to throw at him to get him over to the north side? That remains to be seen. Another storyline, I think, will the Boston Red Sox, will the world champion Red Sox make additions to their roster? Will they possibly get one of these big name free agents, since they are the defending world champions? And third one, since I couldn't think of anything else, I was just thinking, will the most talked about free agency destination pickup, will that occur? Will Bryce Harper actually take his talent to the north side of Chicago? Will Bryce Harper be the only person the Cubs land in free agency this offseason? Or will they simply have to treat Yu Darvish, the year 2 of Yu Darvish at Wrigley, like it's year 1 at Wrigley? Because, quite frankly, there wasn't much of a year 1 at Wrigley for Yu Darvish this year. Hopefully he rehabs, and hopefully he'll be able to get back on track for 2019. Because Joe Madden, the Cubs manager, apparently they're not going to talk a contract extension with him during the off season, which, if you ask me, Joe Madden should be the manager of the Cubs for essentially lifetime. He has led the Cubs to incredible heights with him in charge. Postseason appearance every year he has been there. 2016, of course, winning the World Series. This has been the most successful era of Chicago Cubs baseball ever, with Joe Madden at the helm. Treat the guy right. Give him his contract. Come on, Cubs. Pull out the purse strings. Pull out the big contract. Give him a pen. Let's get a deal done. Let's get Joe Madden signed to a long-term contract on the north side of Chicago. Joe Madden is the best manager in the history of the Chicago Cubs.
Thanks for listening to the Palace on Sports podcast. Please like and subscribe and follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter link will be down below. And I'll see you next time in the next podcast. Bye!